If you want to strip down the city from the main address here like this and determine the population live from the World Wide Web, and also at the same time determine the tier based on the population, this is how you do it. First and foremost of all, this is what the table looks like, all empty. The blue ones is US address, and the one below in red are Canadian address. So you can see in most address, the city is the second one. You can see 2 commas here. Also the Canadian address, the city is on the second one here. If you have that kind of setup, it's pretty straightforward. To strip down the city, you use this formula here like this and hit enter, and you can see they strip down the New York for you. And if I apply to the rest of them, it will work the same way like that. There we go. And to get population, you have to use a function called ImportXML, and the way to do it is that, let's say ImportXML like that. The first argument on ImportXML is the URL of where you're going to get those population from, and the second one is called expat query. We're going to leave the locale as it is and not going to even enter them. So let me give you a quick introduction. The way I'm getting the population is from this web page called citypopulation.de. And let's say, for example, if you want a US cities population, this is New Jersey, New York. So if you want a particular text from this web page, this is basic web scraping, right? What you do is that you highlight this text here like this, and you go right click and you inspect. Now this is a Google Chrome. Firefox is a bit different, but the idea is the same. I think they use the same term as inspect. Once that's done, this section of the code will be highlighted under elements here. If you right click, in here you go copy, and then you click on copy full path, and that's what you need for the XPath. So and also the thing to note is that the way the URL is formed is like that. So what you're going to have to do is that in this particular website, they use city.de en US metro New York / that's the URL, and we do have New York over here, so we're gonna have to make everything lowercase and strip it down. So basically this is what the first portion of your import URL looks like that. So basically that's your URL, and you're taking the city and you're getting rid of the spaces, and then after that trimming front and back of any white spaces, and changing everything to lowercase and concatenating them. And then I did say that the XPath would be something like that. See, it's this thing here. This is what it looks like if you copy. I mean, this is where this came from. Was, let me hit enter here, and it'll give you the population of that. So where this came from was this. If you go this and you go right click and you go copy and you go full path, and if I were to open my notepad here, let me get my notepad here, and if I were to paste it, see, this is what it looks like. So that's what you need for your XPath there. So that's for US, and for Canada you're gonna have to change this to CA, and this XPath it's gonna be a bit different as well. Let's do this here for now, and then to determine the tier, I'm going to use population determine tier. So this is the formula I'm using for tier. So basically 10 million is going to be called tier 1, 5 million tier 2, and 1 million tier 3, and 4 million for anything else. So that's how I determine the tier. And then if you take this and apply to all the US address, you get this population from that web page, and also the tier as well as you go along. For the Canadian city, extraction is similar, same formula. I'm going to copy the same formula and paste it in here, and it works for all of them because the structure is same. The city is at the center here, but the what do you call that, the formula to calculate, or the formula to get the population, is going to be slightly different. If you look at this web page here, like I said, citypopulation.den, this is Canada, previously was US, so that's something you're gonna have to change. Metro followed by city is the same, and this one here is your XPath. This is the population in 2010. You right click and you go inspect, it will highlight this thing here for you. This is the number that you want. Right click here, and what you do is you hit copy full path again. And if you look at your this one was for US. Let me give a couple of space here, and if you press Ctrl V or paste it, this is what it looks like for Canadian. So what you do is this. So go back to your Google Sheet here. I'm going to copy this formula here. As you can see, I'm going to use the same formula called ImportXML. HTTPS population city. As you can see, this is called Canada, Metro, and basically doing the same thing, getting rid of space between if there's any of the city has two words in it, trimming it, which means removing white spaces from back and front, and changing it to lowercase, basically forming the URL itself. And then I'm going to copy this. This is what I got it for XPath here, and then that's my second argument on my import XML. And I'm going to close it with parentheses and hit enter. And that didn't work at all. So let me have a quick look at it. What happened here is this. Double click here. You got to put the XPath query in double quote. Don't forget that. And hit enter, and you'll get your total population from that web page there. Now this shows 6 million, mainly because this is Calgary. What they want here was Toronto. So if you take this and paste it to Calgary, you will see 1.481 million is from here. Okay, so gonna apply the same formula to the rest of the Canadian city here like this, and I'm gonna keep the tier calculation the same. Likewise, if you want to change, let's say make it a bit smaller for Canadian city, maybe call it 1 million for tier 1 and 500,000 for tier 2, and then 100,000 for tier 3, and so on. You can change it that way too, right? It depends on how you want to categorize each city. Well, that's how you do it. Basically, city, population from the World Wide Web, and tier calculation.